This is a GANspeed 65 watt dual port fast charger. I received it for free to review from the Amazon Vine Voices review program, but they have not paid me for my review, and my opinions are my own. So in the box, you get the charger itself in a little carrying thing here, and the instruction booklet. You will need to provide your own USB-C cable, and it has your fold-down US 120 volt power plug on the back. So on the bottom we have a USB-C port and a USB-A port. The USB-C port is rated at a maximum of 65 watts if you're not using the USB-A port. If you're using them both together, the USB-C port will do 45 watts, and then it has 7.5 watts for the USB-A port. So it's 52 watts max. So definitely use the USB-C port for faster charging. Although the USB-A port by itself could potentially get up to 22.5 watts if your device can negotiate the higher voltage across it. So at 5 volts it maxes out at 3 amps. Now this guy is small. It's basically powerful enough for most laptops, but you know, it's pretty tiny. So let me just give you some measurements here. You know, we're talking 49 millimeters by 84 millimeters by 14 millimeters. So imperial units, we're talking 1.9 inches by just a little over 3 here, like 3.3 inches. And then thickness is 0.57, so 0.6 inches thick. So weight is 2.93 ounces, or 83 grams. I plugged into the outlet there. You can see, you know, this is a pretty small charger. I'm testing it here with a load that can take up to 100 watts. The cable is rated also for 100 watts. So it's negotiating power up here. We're at 59.9 watts delivered, and I have, you know, this is a 10-foot cable, so there is going to be a little bit of voltage drop. So you can see here it's 18.75 volts, 3.1 amps, 60 watts delivered, which is perfectly reasonable through this 10-foot cable. So I'm going to say, you know, this does match its 65 watt max specifications. So I've plugged in my USB-A power meter here. It's getting 4.9 volts, but it's not drawing any current right now. And it's still delivering the 60 watts of power out the USB-C port. Alright, I plugged a small load in the USB-A port, and it's currently drawing 1.3 amps out of the USB-A port at 5 volts. So, you know, that's less than 10 watts here, probably the 7 watts it's rated at. And the output on the USB-C port has gone down to 43.5 watts. So as soon as you plug something to charge into the USB-A port, as the manual specifies, this guy goes down to 45 watts. So as soon as I unplugged the item from the USB-A port, this guy renegotiated speed, and it's going back up to the 65 watt max draw power. Alright, this guy right now is just barely warm to the touch. I'm going to leave it for 10 minutes and see what the temperature gets up to powering the 65 watt load. Okay, we've been charging this guy at 60 watts for about 10 minutes now. You know, the cable's just slightly warmer than ambient. And this charger here is definitely warming up. So you can see it says 57 at the highest spot. So that is very warm. I can hold my hand on it, but it would be uncomfortable to leave it there for a long period of time. It looks like the heat is relatively well distributed across the unit and around it, so it is dissipating heat pretty evenly here. But, you know, drawing 60 watts out of this guy, you can expect it to heat up to be pretty warm. So I have felt laptop power bricks get hotter than this, but, you know, it is definitely warm. So I'm pretty happy with this guy. The only way it could be better is if the USB-A port could get up to like 10 or 15 watts while the USB-C port was in operation. But if you compare it kind of size and volume to my previous travel 65 watt charger. The volume's quite a bit less. It's much easier to put in the pocket with the slim form factor. So I think this is going to be my new travel charger.